What do you say to people who they're dating really quality people, but the physical attraction is not growing?
Because when the lights are dark, as long as everything works nicely, like who cares what you look like? We all have this fantasy of having the perfect life. And that's something that is very sexy. Like, tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I'm going to give it to you. You can get it. You're like, yes.
Welcome back to another episode of the Black and Jewish podcast. My special guest today is from the hit show on Netflix, Jewish Matchmaking, Aleeza Ben Shalom. Matchmaker, find me. I love that last.
I can do that.
Aleeza, tell us all about your new book.
I'm so excited. Matchmaker is coming out December 3rd. It is currently available on pre-sale. It's got all my juicy tidbits. All the stuff I talk about, like date them till you hate them. So that one. You guys don't really know about soulmate clarity. You don't know yet about like high quality humans. Like I've got all the secrets in here.
Okay, so I was going through the book and I seen something that says, reality is sexier than fantasy. And I want to get into that one. I was like, wait, what? Because I just had a conversation with someone yesterday and I said, what do you think is so hard about dating? He said, listen, I think everyone's living in a delusion and they think a little bit too high of themselves. And he was saying, like, just find someone that is good for you, that works for you, and get married and stop comparing yourself to everyone else. And then I thought to myself, are we living in a delusion? And then I seen the chapter in your book. So explain to me, what does it mean reality is sexier than fantasy? And what fantasies do you see that daters are living in right now?
So the fantasy, and I'm going to include myself in this because we all have this fantasy of having the perfect life. Right? Exactly what we want, with whom we want, where we want, how we want, all of our desires being fulfilled. And that's something that is very sexy. Like, tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I'm going to give it to you. You can get it. You're like, yes. Right? It's so appealing, but we get what we need, right? That's the other part of the song. Like, you can't always get what you want, but sometimes you get what you need. And we don't realize that what we need is actually what is so deeply satisfying to us. And that the reality, right? Like the waking up with the screaming kid at 2:00 in the morning, the having the fight with the husband and things not going so well. That's great. Why? Because you did get married, because you do have a husband, because you do have a child, because you are building that family that you want. Is today great? No, today's not great. But it's the life and the lifestyle that you've been dreaming of living that you can finally live that is so, we're going to call it sexy, but by that I mean so deeply satisfying where you can just look at it, you can't look at the day to day and the minute to minute, right? We have to zoom out and go, wow, right? Look what I created. If you built a business, would we judge it on one day? No. Zoom out and look at the whole year. What are our profits and losses and how did it go? Oh, it's a success, right?
Yes.
So we should do the same with our life.
Okay, you talked about needs and some wants there. First of all, I want to know on the show, how do you stay, one, optimistic, and then like just straight face when people come with like what I would deem like these ridiculous wants, and then you find them for them. And I'm like, how does she do that? You know what I mean? It's like, she has to be blonde, she has to be blue eyes, and it's just like, does it have to be? And then you like literally find it.
Right. So
how do you not judge people by their wants? And then how do you just like, okay.
How do I ground myself and how do I not judge people?
Yes.
So the reason that I don't judge people is because I've spoken to so many people and I've heard so many things that when you tell me something, I'm like, it's definitely not the most outrageous thing. Even though everybody tells me, oh, you've never heard anything like this. I'm so picky. I'm like, you could try me because most likely you are just not the most picky human ever. You're just a picky human, not the most. Yes. So I've really heard so many things. So it doesn't surprise me. And think about it. We all like different things. Why do ice cream stores have so many flavors? Why?
Right.
You could just have vanilla and chocolate, be done. Pick your flavor and move on.
Right.
But everybody has preferences. So it's the same way with dating. So when somebody tells me their preferences, to me, it's data, it's information. I don't judge it because I don't really care what they're saying. I care that I understand what they're saying, but I don't care.
Mm.
Like, I don't, because I don't come in with a preconceived notion of what they need. I come in with the idea that you know what you need for you, and I'm going to listen, and that's going to be a clue. And this is like a puzzle, and I can put it together only if you tell me what it looks like. And if I know what it looks like, and I know what it feels like, and I know the personality and the background and all these things, I can look for that. I can find that. But if you don't tell me that information, it's like me going in blind and going, I pick you. Let's try this one today. That's not really helpful. So I look at all those details, blonde hair, blue eyes, this, that, great. Is it a deal breaker? Okay, then that's the only thing I'll look for. It's not, you're flexible. Okay, that's preference A, but we could also try B. Okay, I could look for that. It's just data to me. It's not, there's no judgment because it's just a piece of information that helps me to figure out the puzzle.
Wow, I really love that answer. Okay, so needs and wants. Do you think in these modern day dating times that we're a little bit too focused on our wants and we would be getting married faster if we just focused on what it is we really need? For example, I talk about the reason I love living in Israel so much is because it reminds me of what is important. And it really reduces down like two major values for me, which is God and family, right? And then I'm like, I don't act like when I'm in Israel, I'm like, oh, I don't need all of these other things except, and I get to America and I'm like, I need so much, you know? Do you think that there are just like some basic needs that we need as human beings? And if we could just reduce it down to like, this is really what I need, we could find matches quicker, get married faster?
Yes. I mean, the short answer would be yes. Like if we could get over our head, if we could get over our thinking, which is these needs, these wants that we've created that appear like needs, then we might be able to get through it a little bit more gracefully. It's so by me, what do we need? We need to be connected. We need to have more similarities than differences. We need to be presently compatible and have like a nice energy, and futuristically oriented to be heading in the same direction, right? Like if you and I are, we got to, first of all, you're in your car, I'm in my car, we're dating, right? Now we're on the same road. Maybe we're going at different speeds. One person's ahead, one person's behind, but hey, we're on the same road. If we're going to meet at a restaurant, we'll both get there, but at different times, right? Marriage is, we're getting in the same car. We're deciding together which place we're going together. We're going to get there together, right? It's your speed, it's my speed, it's now our speed, which isn't always such a comfortable thing.
Yeah, I'm like, oh.
Right, like either they're too fast and you're like hanging on for dear life, like, please God, let me get out of this alive. Or like they're too slow and you're like, please, just faster than 55, please.
Yes,
Speed says 65.
Let's go. Okay, so what are some common misconceptions about the matchmaking process that daters need to know if they're coming to hire a matchmaker?
So usually people think, I got my list. I'm going to give you my list. You're going to hit it. You're going to give me like 10 options. I should get 10 like A++ options. And from those, I'll pick like my favorite one. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah. Dating doesn't work that way. Newsflash.
Right.
Dating with a matchmaker means that we deal with the process and the stress of finding the date and setting it up and organizing it and doing the research and taking care of all the details. It doesn't mean that you get, tell me what you want and I'll get you exactly what you want. It means I know what you want and I'm going to search for it. We're going to get as close as possible. And you get the choice if you want to go out with who we find or who we don't find. But I once had a guy who said, well, how many, right people do you think there are for me in the world? And I said, I don't know. How many do you think? And he's like, I don't know, maybe like 100.
Yeah.
I said, 100? There's 100 right people for you? I was like, how many have you met? He's like, maybe 4 or 5. He's like, how many do you think? And I was like, I'm thinking probably no more than 10 people that I meet would I actually want to marry, right? Like there's a lot of people. I might want to be a friend with you. I might want to be a business partner with you. I might want to hang out with you and have a dinner with you and go on a double date, with a friend. But like, you're not my human. I don't want to wake up next to your face every day. Like, not to be too specific, but like, that's not for me, right?
Yes.
But how many people do we really want to spend our life with, where our values are aligned, our compatibility is there, our future goals are there, our family, like desires and what we want to build? It's so much deeper than finding a business partner, which also has to be very, very right. But a business partner, you could cut the ties, move on, bring somebody else in, do your own thing. Like, there's many things to do. With a life partner, it's supposed to be a life partner. Now, it doesn't always work out that way, but the ideal and the vision is that this is a partner that you have for life. They're here with you through the thick and thin.
What do you think about daters who they have a hard time choosing because, I'll use myself, for example, I thank God I've dated really good people, but I sometimes struggle with the decision because you can find tons of synergy in one area, but not the rest of these areas. And for, and I also want to ask for women of the background of, like, say they're educated and they're career oriented, et cetera, and people view them as like they want to go into this partnership model, but really in their heart of hearts, they want to go into this traditional model, but they just had some successes because they've just been single and, they've been pursuing life, but really they want to have this traditional model. They want to be at home. They want to take care of their children, but their juices get going from like men with big ideas or status, et cetera. And so you meet that and then you get synergy there, right? But then you meet the other guy who gives you the other synergy of, like, he's a Torah scholar and it's all about just God and family. And you're like, dang, tons of synergy right there. But it never seems that there's like all of this synergy, like in three different areas of life in one person. So how do you, like, I guess, get soulmate clarity of, like, what do I choose? Because there's different parts of me that come alive with different people, and I just can't find it in one person.
Okay, first of all, you've been taking notes. You said soulmate clarity. You nailed all the things that I love to talk about. I love you. So it's a really good question, because soulmate clarity is all about, how do I know if this is the one or if I should be done? Like, is there enough? Like, like you said, we're so compatible in this one area, but do the other areas line up? So what I like to see is that we have more than 70% alignment, 70% or more, and about 30% or less where it's acceptable. Alignment is green. That's like good. Wait, let me see if I have it right here. Do I have it hiding? I have a little in my desk next to me. Oh my gosh, I have to see where I have my little soulmate clarity chart, because I actually have a chart, and the explanation's in the book, but the chart's not. But I want to show you a sneak peek. Hold on.
Okay, we have to see the chart. We need help.
Here's a version of it. This is a tiny one. Let me make sure no names are on it. No, there is a name on it. Hold on. I'm gonna black out the name.
Okay.
Got to keep everything kosher here and not put people's names.
She's very professional, guys. See, she protects her client's identity.
Okay. So first of all, this is like totally, this was like a little printout chart that I did because I wanted to explain soulmate clarity. I actually have the rest of these upstairs because I was studying it over Shabbos one week with somebody who asked me questions, and my printer wasn't working so well. So anyway, I'm going to show you something. So just for example, let's like try to bring this close. This is an overall. There's three different charts.
I can see the charts. I just can't see what the
I'm going to explain what it means.
Okay.
But this is showing green. This up here is supposed to be all orange. Sorry, it's a little yellow. And this is yellow. And this is the overall assessment, which is a combination of our qualities that we're looking for, the relationship fears that we have, and the things that bother us about other people. Now, overall, I'm going to take a look at this and see. I actually can't see the numbers exactly, but it looks about 65% green and about 20 something percent orange, 20 something percent yellow, somewhere in that. Well, that doesn't add up, but maybe 15, whatever the math is. But you can see the chart. It doesn't add up to being enough. First of all, there's orange on the chart. Orange is a potential deal breaker. If there's anything that is potentially a deal breaker, even if they're amazing and you have synergy and there is such a vibe, but you're like, Alisa, give me a deal breaker. Do you have any deal breakers, or give me a friend's deal breaker? Things that absolutely don't work for you. Do you have anything?
Like, he smokes, he's vaccinated.
Okay, great. Either one of those, right?
Yeah.
So let's take he smokes, okay? You meet him, there's amazing synergy, you click, you have life goals aligned, you have so many things. You're like, wow, this is an amazing human. But for the fact that he smokes, I could marry him. Like, it's really amazing. And I'm going to say to you, is that really a deal breaker? And you're going to think about it and you're going to let me know. Like, are you willing to give up everything? Because a deal breaker breaks the deal. You could have everything almost aligned and one thing could ruin it.
Wow.
And that happens sometimes. Or you meet good people who have like 70% aligned, and then there's some things that you're not so in favor of. And if the question is, are they Mr. Right or are they Mr. Right now? Like, is it good enough to be my human forever, or you're a good human, but you're not my human? Like, that's
how do you know? How do you know? Right? Yes.
And you're getting little pieces of these people, like this one, he works and, oh, that's so appealing. And that's just, oh, I love that. And this one, he's a scholar and he's so learned and it's just amazing. Like, he's so intelligent. But I would say to you, where do we spend most of our time with our life partner? We spend it in our house. Okay. If he's a businessman, and this is advice for you, if this is your scenario.
Yes.
But if he's a businessman, where is he spending most of his time?
Outside of the home.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. And when he's home, he's home. You're going to like him. He's going to vibe, but he's not going to be around so much. Do you prefer that? Or would you prefer a man who's more home, who's more around, who's more available, who's more with you, who's more raising the family with you alongside of you, as opposed to popping into the life and you're running the house and he's just a part of what's happening, right? And if you're the woman who has the job and has the money and is settled and you're in a good financial position, do you actually need somebody who matches you in money or is above you? Or does it not even matter and you just can live a good life with a really good human and build a really beautiful family? And like, okay, so earning money isn't his thing. What does he bring to the table that is the value in the same way that money is a value? So participation in family life, education, intellectual stimulation. That's a huge value. And you won't get that with the man that's not around, because he won't be around, but he'll bring home the bacon. Well, not, but it comes to lamb bacon.
Turkey bacon.
The turkey bacon. But like, he'll bring home the money and he'll make sure that your grocery bills are paid, but he's not going to be able to sit there and learn with you. And he's not going to be able to, like, he'll banter with you, but maybe he won't intellectually stimulate you in the same way that you'd get that out of a Torah scholar. So the question is, what do you want? What do you value? And you maybe could go either way. You could be like, well, I kind of like this and I kind of like that. At a certain point, you have to make a decision. Sometimes could you get the combination of those two things? You could, but like, something always rises above. Like, somebody's either more of the businessman or more of the Torah scholar. Maybe they do both, but they like one more. And my question would be, what do you value more? What means something to you more? There's no wrong answer. I'm not telling you to pick one over the other. If somebody says, I need the money, I need the comfort, I need the status, it just works for me. That's how my life is. That's how my life was. That's how my life will be. That's how I want it for my kids. Great. Good for you. Right? He says, no, actually, I'd rather have the intellectual stimulation. Like, I have the money. It's okay. I mean, I never thought I was going to be the breadwinner. I mean, if we look at my life, just to take it for example, my husband worked our entire lives. We're married. Oh, we're coming up. What's the date? I know what the date is, because I know what yesterday was. Okay, so we're coming up. October 13th is our wedding anniversary, Zayin Cheshvan. It's a couple weeks after the holidays, but it's October 13th, and we'll be married 22 years.
Wow, Mazal Tov. That's beautiful. I mean, you have many more years, all the way to 120.
Amen.
Talk to me about red flags. And I always have a caveat because of what I'm seeing, in the culture. So right now we have terms like trauma, toxicity, and narcissism are like our top 3 terms that the girlfriends were sitting around, and we can diagnose all the men, and somehow men can't diagnose us, but we can diagnose them with, all of these traumas and things that they have. And so what I see among my girlfriends, we're like, wow, he has abandonment issues. Wow, he has this issue, that issue. And so we're like, yeah, girl, just leave him. Just leave, just leave, just leave. And so when do we compromise and say everyone has an issue, including you yourself? I'm talking to women. You yourself have issues. And sometimes maybe it is a red flag, maybe it's not a red flag, or maybe it's something that you just have to work through because we have to work through tough things in life. How do you know, this red flag is something I should keep going with, and it's just, something I have to sign up for and we just have to work through it? Or it's a red flag of run, just run now.
So it's a deep question. Red flags are an issue. And the question is this a red flag for me? Just like, is this the right human for me? A good human, but the right human? Is this a red flag for me? And the way I would answer it is, to what degree can you handle what's happening? Meaning, whatever, abandonment issues, right? He needs me to text more consistently. He needs me to not be absent-minded and forget about him. He needs to be more involved, more engaged. Great. I have to be more available. And I have to have a higher sensitivity because he has a higher trigger point. So can you handle that? Are you good with that? Is that you're oh, I've dealt with that before because I had friends like this. So I'm used to that. That's okay. Right? It's a red flag. It could be a red flag, but hey, for the person like that, it's not a red flag. It's just not a plus, right? There's pluses and other, good and other. I like you because of this, and this is the bag of stuff that comes with it when you buy this purchase,
Yes.
I get the good and I get the, that's not why I married you, but I'll take it anyway, right? The red flag is the thing that triggers you on the inside where you're burning and you're oh my gosh, they're anxious all the time. They have anxiety, and their anxiety, it just makes me anxious, and I just can't handle it. And I don't even know what to do. And you're whoa, why are you flipping out? And you're I don't know, because they're flipping out. And you're oh, okay. So this doesn't work for you. You can't handle that. Whereas somebody else who's super calm is it's okay. You're anxious. We'll be late. It'll be 5 minutes. It doesn't matter. They have a very calming vibe and they can manage it. And you're ooh, how can you handle that? Right? I can't handle that. So if your answer is, I can't handle that, then it's a red flag. If your answer is, it's not my favorite trait about you, but I kind of know how to manage this, it's probably a trait that you could learn to manage and be okay with, that could be in that bag of other stuff that you could handle. It's not what you want. It's not why you're choosing them, but yes, something will come along with it. And is this the thing that you can manage?
I love that answer. And I love that you always have a positive perspective on everything, and you answer things with this lens of positivity. It doesn't make you feel bad about the things that you want. And it leads me to my next question about friends and family. And I took your Be Your Own Matchmaker course, and you said in that course, do not talk to more than 3 people about who you're dating, and not less than 2, I believe is what you said. And how do we navigate talking to our closest friends and our family members about who we're dating, and them putting their own fears onto you? So maybe it is something hey, yeah, he has abandonment issues, but it doesn't really bother me. But your friends are he has this, he has that, this is not going to be good. And now they're starting to influence your decision, especially for someone who comes from maybe a tight-knit family, and or has that best friend for life who really knows them, and you just really value them. And so now you're kind of second guessing yourself of should you move forward, because the friends and family are not so approving of whatever their red flags are or who that person is for you.
I would say to start with removing yourself from the situation and sitting with them in their moment, because they're having a moment of needing to evaluate your relationship. So for the moment, it's actually not about you. It's about what their opinion is of you. And you kind of have to imagine having a conversation with you and them and like a third person over here, right?
Okay.
And you have to like pull your like you're sitting on the couch, right? And leave your body there. That's you. And then you sit over there and you be like the other friend talking with your friend about you. If you got that mindset.
Yes.
Okay. Because when you do that, you'd be like, oh, that's so interesting. Abandonment issues, right? Yeah, that could be really triggering. But you act like you could say, like, wow, but actually you seem to handle it well. Like not everybody can handle that. And they're like, yeah, actually it's true, but won't that bother you? And you're like, such a good question. Like it does bother me, but it's not a trigger for me, or it's not a red flag for me, like, smoking, whatever, that really hits me. And I'm just triggered every time I see him smoke. It just, makes smoke blow out of my ears. And I'm just on fire about it. It gets me riled up. But it doesn't rile me up. I don't like it. But, and they're like, oh, interesting. Like have a conversation, an out of body experience, but like have a conversation with them about the issue. And what are your concerns? Like flesh it out. This is data. Just think of it as data. What are your concerns? Like, I know you love me and I know you know me. Do you like, does it sound like I probably can't handle this? Like, no, you can handle it very well, but I'm worried for you because, I don't think I'd be able to handle something like this. And you're like, oh, like, is it their problem because they couldn't handle it? Or are they putting all of their stuff on you? Or are they superimposing the issue on you that's really their issue? Or is it really, well, you had a boyfriend like this 3 years ago. Do you remember that? And he was just like this. And actually, after 2 years, you didn't handle it so well. So I just want to make you aware of this. You're doing this again. This is a pattern and you're repeating it. And you're going, oh, I didn't think of that. Actually, maybe you're right. Maybe I can handle it. Like, where is the grain of truth in what they're saying? And if you're not looking to fight against them, then you can just open it up as a dialogue to learn more. And again, gather data. And I think what I think. I like him. This works for me. I'm okay with that. And oh, this is an interesting perspective. Let me digest it and then come back and say, should that influence where I am holding? Because I don't have an issue today. Now that you said something, maybe I do, but I didn't have an issue before this. So like maybe this isn't an issue. Like talk it out and be open to this.
What do you say to people who they're dating really quality people? Like they're a good person. You keep dating them. You don't hate them, but the physical attraction is not growing. And you're like, otherwise I would marry this person. I would marry him. Like there's nothing wrong. He's the Torah scholar. He's well, whatever people want. He's the business person. He, stimulates me intellectually. Just the spark never sparked, or the physical attraction just never came. Like, can you marry someone where you don't have physical attraction? You don't have the ick that you talk about, but it's just, you don't find them to be like, I want to kiss you necessarily.
So no, you can't marry somebody if you don't have an amount of physical attraction.
Okay.
But what degree is that physical attraction? So there's ick, which is you're not getting married. There's, I just don't even talk to me. I'm good. Let's just get married. This is fine, which scares me. Those scare me. Don't date those people too long. That scares me. And then there's like the middle of the road, like, oh, you're not my look. Could I get used to that? Do I want to wake up next to that face every day? I usually tell people to look for one thing that they like. Like, do you like their eyes? Do you like their smile, their teeth? Do you like the shape of their hands? Like, is there something that is appealing about them that you could look at and go, oh, but I like that? And we could at least start with one thing that we value and like, as opposed to like the overall package is just not exactly what I like and I'm not exactly feeling it. If we could attach ourselves to one thing that would work. And another piece of advice that somebody recently gave me, which I love, she is in her 70s and dating somebody, and he wasn't exactly her type, but he was amazing. And she's like, Alisa, he's such a great guy. I said, what's the story? She said, well, I was trying to figure out how to like get over myself. And we played a little game, like, trip down memory lane and let me see some photos of you growing up, And she saw like his whole progression of, from kid to teenager to 20s, 30s, all the way up to 70s. And she's like, oh, like that was cute. Oh, that was cute. Oh, oh, and that's what you look like now. Okay. Well, actually, like, had I married you back then, this would have been great. And that's what I would have ended up with. So like, I can make this work. And she plays some sort of amazing mind game with herself. And she totally bought in, and they're dating for like 6 months very happily. And he doesn't know this, which is good because it's irrelevant information. Like look, there's different people. So some people, they have a type, that's it. You can't do anything about it. They'll never change. They don't want to change, and they're not looking for anything other than what they want. And then there's other humans that have a range, and their range is just this wide instead of this narrow.
Right.
And yeah. So if you have a super narrow view and you don't want to widen it, I can't help you. Good luck. Just look for what you want. Blonde hair, blue eyes, and that's what we'll find. And either that or you'll stay single forever. And that's okay, because you would rather live alone than live with not exactly what you want. Or for the people that are within a range, we try to get as close to what they want, or we try to see how we could look with different eyes. You know, where's my glasses here? I'm going to show you. It's so cute. You're going to crack up. I have my, rose-colored glasses.
Okay. So cute with hearts. I love it.
Rose-colored heart glasses. Like, this is sometimes how we have to look. We have to look through rose-colored glasses and go, oh my gosh, there's got to be something I like about you. Like, you're a good human. God created you. And like, wow, your teeth are so white. You know, there's a Jewish story about, right, the fox running on the whole thing. Anyway, but like, there has to be something that somebody can appreciate about you. And the question is, what lens do we have to look through to see that? Don't look through the lens that you've always been looking through. Look at this human being and go, wow, I will never get sick of being treated like that. You are a great human. Okay. What do I like about you? I like your eyelashes. You know, like, I don't even like the shape of your eye. I just like the lashes. Okay, great. Anything. Like, literally grab onto the smallest thing and start to find things that you like. And if you just like the show Love is Blind, right? Yes. They literally do not see each other. They fall in love with the human being that is behind the wall. And then they see each other. And their brains actually take a long time to catch up, because I had this happen once. I worked with somebody. We only spoke over the phone. This was, before video, right? And finally I met her in person, and my brain almost had a meltdown. And I said to her at one point, hold on. And I closed my eyes. I said, talk. And she started talking, and I go, okay, hold on. And I opened my eyes back up, and I was like, wow, that's you. Okay. It was like, I had a different image in my head of what you were going to look like. You didn't look like it in my brain. And I've been talking to you, imagining you, and I didn't imagine you like that. We do that with our spouse. Our potential spouse, like the person that we want, we imagine who they are, what they're like, what they talk like, what they look like, how we feel when we're with them. And then we meet them, and that doesn't match up. And that makes our brain crazy. But when we shut things down and quiet it for a minute, and I go, oh, but I like how I feel when I'm with you. Okay, I'm going to figure this out. I am going to figure this out, because when the lights are dark, as long as everything works nicely, like, who cares what you look like? I mean, it's not true. You have to like their face. You do have to like them. But I'm just saying that there's so much more to how we're treated and living a life together with a life partner than how somebody looks. People get divorced all the time from really great looking people. And you're like, wow, you think they're ugly. And they're like, well, now, because they treated me like garbage, but they're gorgeous objectively. So like, beauty is skin deep. And if you live long enough, we're all going to wrinkle. We're going to gray. We're not going to look so pretty. Like it's not that we're not going to look so pretty. We're not going to look the same. It's a different kind of beautiful that have to learn to appreciate. And really, like, this is the goof neshama, the body and soul struggle. Do I go for a little bit more? You're going to get both. You're going to get an inside and an outside. But like, should I like the outside a little bit more and just suck it up and deal that the inside isn't as pretty? Or if the inside is so sparkly, but the outside is not what I think is so pretty, is that okay? And some people have a problem because it's not only about them. I got to bring them home to my family and my friends, and they're going to say like, oh, they just don't measure up to you.
Yes. To that one point, how do you get over what other people think about who you're dating? How do you get over it? Just like, how do you just say, listen, this is who I chose? Like it seems to be, there are some people who are like I'm one of 9. So I have some sisters, like I have a sister, she will date anyone, like fat, short, tall, like she does not discriminate. And I really love that about her. She really is like, and my dad will be like, you're so beautiful, Casimira. Like, why are you dating this guy? And she's like, he's really nice to me. But like my dad judging her, she doesn't care. Like she does not care. She's going to date who she dates. And so I think some people just come into the world like that. But for the people who don't, how do you help them get over what other people think and just go for the person that you want? You like this person, so just go for it. Who cares what your friends or your family thinks?
It's very hard. I used to be one of those people-pleasing people that always wanted everybody to be happy and to like the decisions and to go along with everything. And I learned somewhere along the way that, first of all, you can't make everybody happy. So somebody's always going to be unhappy. And my answer is, it's not going to be me, because I have to make that decision. So if I have a choice between pleasing you or pleasing me, if I have to live with this human being for the rest of my life, it can't be that it pleases somebody else more than it pleases me. I have to pick my life partner, and I have to live with that decision. So I would first of all, it's a mind shift. And second of all, I appreciate that other people want something for you, and I appreciate that they think that you are just amazing and sparkly. There will always be one person that sparkles more in the relationship. There's 2 people in a relationship, and you're not both going to sparkle to the same amount. One will be higher and one will be below. Which one do you want? Wouldn't you actually rather be the more sparkly human? Like, wouldn't you rather, right? Like, would you rather have a partner that outshines you? Really? Like, just think about that for a minute. So,
Like that.
Okay. And some people don't feel like they're outshined, or they're thrilled because they're like, wow, I am with such a great human. Look who picked me, right? Like,
Right.
I got an amazing human. Now, what's ideal? Ideal is that both partners look at each other and they think that they got the better deal. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Wants to look at their partner and be like, oh, he got
I'm
a
better than you.
I got it right. You don't want to look at it like that. But if you think of it like that, and you understand, well, somebody's going to be always more outgoing. Somebody's going to be less. Even if you're both outgoing, somebody's going to pop up to be more. Somebody's always going to be more happy. Somebody's going to be a little bit under. Which one are you going to be, right? And somebody's going to be more sparkly, and somebody's going to be slightly less. Like they sparkle less. Okay, but do they treat you better? Like you could still come back with, yeah, but they treat me better than anybody else in the world. And, like even though I treat people well, I think I'm being treated better, right? Like I got the better deal in terms of how somebody's being treated. So like looks, I don't know. I mean, I'm still never going to complain when you have the human coming home who talks to you and they say sweet words and they're loving and they're generous, and you ask for help and they give you help, and whatever you need, they're there for you in that moment. Who doesn't want to do that? That's like, to me, that's the most sparkly human in the world. And you don't even have to see who they are and what they look like. That we are humans, so we have to live with our decision of a physical body that the soul is resting in. So it has to be something that you can physically engage with also. But to what degree? That's a question, number one. And number two, just in terms of looks, I'm going back to that just for a second. There will always be somebody more beautiful than the partner that you're with. And even
Always.
Always, like we're human beings.
Yes.
Okay, don't tell me, oh, they're the most beautiful person in the world. Okay, good. Yes. And when you see somebody else out there and you're just like, oops, like that happens because there's people in the world, and our brains, our bodies, no matter what we do, like we're always putting ourselves in check. And when they're not, what is beauty? It's inside and it's out. Anyway, we're going back to that topic there, but
what have you seen with daters, like where they get the most stuck?
Where do daters get the most stuck? Usually they're
like in their dating process, where are they getting the most stuck?
So often what I see is that people know what they want, but how they express it, other people don't understand it clearly. So right, I say, oh, I want whatever. Even if we're talking, let's just not talk about dating, talk about a cake, right? Like, oh, I like a sweet cake, right? And you make me a cake and I'm like, ugh, it's too sweet. You're like, well,
Yeah.
you said you like it sweet. Okay, but what's the definition of sweet? So words that we say are not defined the same way. I'm looking for a good guy. What does good mean? Nice. What does that mean? Honest. What does that mean to you? Loyal. What does that mean to you? Trustworthy. You're like, Alisa, these are all definitions that everybody knows. Yeah, everybody knows a definition. You could look it up in the dictionary. What does it mean to you? Something different than it means to me, something different than it means to somebody else. So when you tell me what you're looking for, I might not understand it. And people get stuck in trying to not explain what they want, but to make it understood. So I need to really get at the core of who you are, what you want and need. Also, not just what I think is good for you, but what you think is good for you, but that I understand your definition of what you're saying. So I'd rather say, I'm looking for somebody who's generous. By generous, I mean somebody who volunteers regularly, who's been doing something with an organization for the last 3 to 5 years and has dedicated their time. Or generous could mean somebody who's very generous, who easily writes checks to nonprofits and supports things and gives whenever he's asked. Those are two different things. One is money and one is time. Both have something to do with generosity. But what do you mean by generous? So we have to define our terms so much better so that the people around us can really understand us, because if they understood us better, they could help us to make a better match.
Yes. How can we use the people around us to get matches, to help us find our match?
Okay, so there is something new. Like when I say new, I've been working on it, but I just launched and spoke about it yesterday. There is something called the Jewish Matchmaking Movement, which in my brain is a global international movement, which will help anyone to set up anyone else anywhere at any time. Meaning,
okay, tell us about it.
literally what you just said. So I want to do training. I have trainings and I have done trainings, but I want to do international trainings. You're going to join. You're welcome. You're in.
Yes, I'm coming.
And I want to teach people what they should look for, how to listen, how to ask the right questions, what things they should be taking notes on, when to make suggestions, when not to make suggestions, and where they should look to find people. Because we all know people. And if you have a lot of siblings and you have a lot of friends and family who love you, they are, like, in terms of a target and a bullseye, they are the closest people to you. So they're going to probably be most likely able to hit the target and get what you want if only they understood what you meant. And then after that, we have to have a broader community. And after that, we can extend further and further. And then just like online and social events and being your own matchmaker, those are also things that we need to focus on. And it's part of it is it's really training and education. So there's different components. Actually, wait a minute. I have all this stuff here because I'm sitting at my desk.
Let's see everything.
You're getting all the insights too. Yes. So this is the little matchbook, which is not so good.
Cute. Okay.
So we're going to make it into a mini size. And then through it, we talk about the reality of dating. We talk about shared assumptions, our goals. We talk about how to go through the matchmaking phase. I talk about different daters, by the way. I don't know if you know this. Hold on.
I don't know. You never know. I'm the you never know.
Okay. So there's different types of daters. There's what I call I daters, we daters, and you daters. I think 15% are I, 15 are you, and 70% of people are we daters. Okay. I people are like, I know. They look at you and they're like, no. Or they look at you and they're like, I'm going to marry you. Those are I people. Like, they're just crystal clear. They get it. You can't negotiate with them so much. And in terms of training people to help you, if you know what kind of dater you're working with, then you know how to speak their language. You never know. They're like willing to date lots of different types of people. He has money. He doesn't have money. He's a Torah scholar. He's just a nice guy. He's the boy next door. You make a suggestion, they'll most likely say yes. And they see good in so many people and they love people. And they can see themselves with different types of people. And the question is, who will they end up with? And it's usually you, whoever you are that picks them back. They'll be like, okay, this is good. Like, I got it. I can move ahead because they see so much value and they're so adaptable. And then there's we daters, which is really the majority of people, which they're like, I don't know. You go out on a date. How was the date? I don't know. What do you think? Do you want to go out again? I don't know. Good person? I mean, yeah. Good for you? I don't know. Everything is literally, I don't know. And you're like, well, what do you know? And they're like, I don't know. And you're like, why?
Wait, so Alisa, how do you help the weed daters since they're the majority?
By the way, they're my favorite. They're my favorite because the I daters, you just give them a little piece of information. They do well. The you daters, you just keep dating. You're going to figure it out. The we daters, it's between their head and their heart. It's your thinking and your feelings. And these are two things that we can't see. That's actually why I created Soulmate Clarity, so that somebody could visualize what is actually happening in their relationship and what their thinking is about the relationship and how their feeling combines together, so that they could see a picture of, like, a snapshot of their relationship in that moment. And the way that we help the we daters, so things like date them till you hate them, that's for the we daters. Why? Because you don't need to make a decision until you make a decision. Just keep going out. Stop thinking about it. You guys are going to overanalyze and spin out in your thinking. Just say yes to another date. Do you like them? We don't know. Just go out again, right? When you're going to stop dating, when you go, I don't like them anymore. Do I have to go out? No. That is the moment that you can stop. So when I put in dating rules and parameters, then people understand how to work with their brain and work with their heart and go more gracefully through the situation.
So what do you do for the you daters who are kind of like, I could keep going out with him. He's perfectly great. But it's just like always that neutral line. Like, yeah, they're nice. I mean, they don't make a decision.
So usually the other person will make a decision, or the relationship will fizzle over the course of time. For you daters, we do have to zone into what, like, because they'll date different types of people. Like, does this draw you more to him more than other people have, right? If everybody is just this middle of the road and you're like, another good guy, I just don't know if he's good for me. Another good guy, I just don't know if he's good for me, right? We kind of want to see, like, good guy. Well, no, like, I feel a little bit more connected than I have felt in the past. Okay, there's a sign that this is a different type of relationship than the previous ones that you've had, or a different type of dating experience. So, like, there should be, and I don't like to compare people to people, but we have to compare your feelings of connection so that we have a baseline of, this is where you usually land. And when you step above that, that's an indication we should dig in more and try harder to build something here.
How much of your decision making for your spouse who you're going to marry should be about data and thinking, and this makes sense, versus feeling and heart and it feels nice? And I would say I always fall on the thinking side of things. I'm like, this makes sense. This is the data on me. This is the data on this person. This would make sense, and less on the feeling side. But I'm like, sure, maybe feelings matter, So how much of it is thinking versus feeling, or should it be more feeling versus thinking?
Also, it depends on the person. So I have a question for you.
Okay.
Are you the type of person with a job? Think about a job. Are you a thinker, a feeler? How do you make a job-based decision?
Oh, that's a good question. Mostly, I make it mostly thinking. It's a strategy to me. Like,
okay,
I will take this position because this will make me learn something. This will get me to this next level that I want. It's more of a strategy. If it makes sense to me, yeah, that's what I'll take it.
Okay. And in terms of it feeling right, it doesn't have to feel right. It has to make sense because it's a right strategy.
It has to make sense unless something in my gut just comes and it's like, no.
Okay. That's the same for dating for you. That's how you figure it out. And not everybody's like that, but that's your method.
Oh.
So for you, the thinking is going to guide it. Your gut will tell you no, but your gut won't tell you yes. And you're probably not a you dater. You're probably a we or a we you. Like, you can have a we. Okay?
Yeah,
Because
my gut always tells me no, never tells me yes.
Right. Correct. But for me, my gut tells me no and yes.
Oh,
I get both.
Okay.
I get
Okay.
both. So, and some people have, yes, 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 yes is their gut, and they don't get very strong no's. Like I had one client, she was not very good with no's at all. And it was actually, I was like, this is actually a little bit dangerous. Like you're the kind of human that ends up in a bad situation. And you're like, how did that happen? I didn't even have an instinct that anything was wrong. So we had to teach her red flags and things to look out for because her gut wasn't identifying no's. So your gut identifies no's, but doesn't identify yeses. Hers identified yeses, but didn't identify no's. And mine does both. So you have to know the human that you are. And then we have to work with it and play with you through it so that we can make good decisions. And for me, I love the logic of moving through a decision. And that's why I love the wheeze, because that takes care of the brain part. But for me, if my gut doesn't kick in to go, and it feels right, then I can't put my stamp of approval on it. I can't make a brain-based decision like 70, 80%. I need it to be more balanced. You need it to be 70 to 80% brain and with no coming in for you.
Oh, wow. Thank you for that analysis. That just helped me.
That's it. She's getting married this year.
Oh, man, I know how to make the decision now. My mom goes, it's easy. You just make a decision. You just choose someone. And I'm like, no.
It's not easy. It's really, I think it's one of the hardest things in the world. You're picking a life partner, somebody who you're going to be with day in and day out, the ups and the downs. And I tell people, because somebody gave me this advice, I don't remember who, but they said, think about all of the challenges that we go through in life. Losing friends and family, going through illnesses, God forbid, financial structures, stressors, health crises, et cetera. Who would you want to be with during those times? The good times, you can always have a good time with either kind of person. Who do you go through the challenging times with? Who do you want to walk through the hospital with? Who do you want to be there to sit and mourn at a shiva with?
Yeah.
That's who you.
Yeah. What are you saying to daters now, given that, and I'm obviously speaking to Jewish daters in this scenario, given that, we are in a war in Israel, everything's so high stress for the Jewish people right now. Iran's attacking us. We have all of these proxies around us attacking us. And we do see beautiful chuppahs coming out of such a stressful time. But then I also see too people just feeling just overwhelmed and stressed and not even, they want to still get married, but still not taking on that dating process because of the overwhelm and the stress.
So I've seen the same thing that you've seen. I've seen some people gracefully navigate through it. And sometimes when you're in a pressure cooker situation, it leads you to the decision and it helps you to make it and move on. And for other people, they break down. PTSD is something that we are seeing, of course, very significantly, and it's impacting dating. People are saying, I can't take care of me, so I can't take care of we. This is not something that I can do right now. Let me fix myself, and then I'm going to come back to the relationship when I think that I'm in a healed enough position for us to move forward. So I'm telling people to have a little bit more patience through the process, to gracefully allow somebody to move through it, to give them more time instead of less time. Like, don't rush the process, slow it down a little bit so that somebody can experience life, what's going on, and then step back into the relationship. It's almost like a dance where they're, one step forward, two steps back, and they have to retreat into themselves. And you can't always move as fast through the relationship. And right now that's very normal. So biggest advice is to have more patience and also to find a friend, like a companion, love, romance, but friendship is at the root of love and romance. Find somebody that can be a friend to you, for you, with you through this, not your best friend in the whole world, but that you can have a kinship with and a true, real relationship, because we will have hard times throughout our lives. And this is just one example of it. So pick a partner that you can go through those challenging times with. Kind of connects to what I said before.
That's really beautiful. What's one thing that you wish you could tell daters, but you don't necessarily say because maybe it's rude? Or maybe you say everything and you don't think it's rude. But what's that thing where you're like, well, like you have to kind of like buffer yourself, but on this show you could just say it.
So it's a good question. It's hard to say because we need somebody to choose who they need and who they want and the only information we have today. But what I want to say is 20 years down the line, 30 years down the line, you're going to look back and be like, that's what I based my decision on. Like, I'm really lucky I ended up with you, but like, I didn't know what I was doing. And I think that people are working hard to try to make a good decision, but they really like, because you've never been through it, you don't know it, right? So usually second time round daters, they go in with eyes wide open. They're like, okay, know what I did wrong before. I need to find a partner like this because this definitely doesn't work for me. And now I'm more clear about my direction. But if you've never been married and you don't know what it is to live with somebody day in and day out like that, not look, we all grow up, we have our family, great. But it's just different when you're the head of the household with somebody and you don't know what you don't know. The hard thing is, though, I don't want to say, listen to me, right? Because you have to somehow tap in and listen to you and get very quiet on the inside. Whether it's a brain decision or a heart decision, you have to wake up every morning and choose them again. You are not choosing them once. As hard as the decision is to pick them time number one, every day for the rest of your life, you have to choose them year after year after year. Otherwise, this relationship won't last. And then you got to go do it.
Wow. What do you say to our older daters? I did get a lot of questions of people, I say older, it's so rude, like 45 plus, and they want to find love. And they think, you know, I have all this baggage and it's harder for me to date because I'm 45 plus or I'm 55 plus. Like, what's your advice to them?
So first of all, people find love at all ages and stages. The oldest client I worked with, she was 89, and we call a mystery in her history. Some guy that, you know, was in her circles, and she started dating him, and it worked, and it was lovely. So first of all, everybody at every age and every stage, I know what people are looking for love. It doesn't just end because you are, you know, whatever age. Number two, think about how many second marriages or even third marriages that you've seen. People are getting into relationships and successfully doing it a second or third time around. And many people have different life situations. You know, it's not just divorce. There's, you know, again, with war and things like that, there's loss and somebody's pulled out of your life and now you have to go build your life again. So my advice at any age and stage, but especially for singles that are 45, 55, 65 plus, is keep your eyes open, talk to people, share what you're looking for. Don't bring all your baggage because we really don't. It's just, no. That's if I'm going to be firm. No, it's just not. We want you. Your baggage comes along. That's just extra. I don't want to know about the extra. We're going to talk about you first, right? Show up, bring your energy, bring your warmth, bring your smiles, bring your wisdom, bring your curiosity, bring your humor, and see what you can find and make a really sincere effort. If you're looking for somebody, then they're looking for you also. We have the potential, like, how many soulmates do you have in the world? Well, you have one at a time. Okay. But how many in lifetime? I don't know. How many times are you going to be married? If you're married twice, you've had two soulmates. If you're married three times, you've had three, just not all at once. At least in the traditions that I know about. Some people have different traditions. I'm not an expert in that.
Alisa, what's the one thing or two things that you've seen from your own marriage and other marriages that have lasted a long time? What do they have in common? What's the number one thing they have in common, or the number two things that they have in common?
A lot of people say, stop taking everything so seriously. Like, be a little bit more lighthearted, be a little bit softer, kinder with each other, laugh more easily and often. It's not about a good sense of humor. It's, do they laugh easily and often and play with each other like that? And you need to have your own rituals. You need to have your own, like my husband and I, we like to do double date night. That means we go out and we get another couple and we go out with them together and we have shtick. What's our shtick? Like our little ritual? We bring, you know, nice cloth napkins, because not every restaurant has them, especially in Israel. They're like, you know,
definitely don't have them.
Right? So we bring our little bag with cloth napkins. We show up to the restaurant and we take them out and we put them on the table with our
You
dates.
guys so
And we have
fancy.
it's so fancy. We feel like $1,000,000. But it's like our shtick. Like, oh, there they come, Aleeza and Gershon with their napkins. Here they come, right? Like it's a part of your own language. Develop your own language, your habits, those cutesy little things that you do with each other or for each other and repetitiously, like it comes up once a week or once a month. Like find your patterns. Your patterns are really important to develop.
Alisa, what is the number one advice you want to leave us with today for daters out there who are really wanting to be married? They want to be married right now, this week, next month, this year. What's that advice and positivity you want to leave them with?
Okay, so first of all, I empathize with you because I was like with the Julia Roberts model, like if I don't find anybody and you don't find anybody, you're my best friend. We're gonna get married, and that's not the model to follow. Although I like best friends getting married. My number one piece of advice is to, first of all, you've already prayed and asked for what you want. We know people do that, whether you're religious, secular, it doesn't matter. People ask for what they want. Ask and pray that the other side is ready. Because if you're good, then they're not. And they need your help to get ready. And that's one of the greatest things we can do for them. Tefillah, prayer, tzedakah, giving money, donating charity, especially towards a bride or groom fund to support a bride and groom. Those things are especially important. And ground yourself in knowing they are coming to you and just make yourself magnetic. Like only the right things come like a magnet. They stick to you and the wrong things, they just repel and they are pushed out of your life and they move on and move away.
Alisa, I was going to let you go, but then you said something and now I have another question. Last question, I promise. What do you mean when you say pray for the other person that they're ready? Because if you're good, they're probably not ready. Where does that wisdom come from?
So I had a client once and she's like, she did kind of like everything on my checklist. You know, like I said, I have my book, Matchmaker. It's got all the secrets in here, right? So like she did all these types of things and exercises, everything I recommended, grounded herself, got herself ready, prepped herself, looked in the right places, dated in the right way. According to me, she was doing absolutely nothing wrong. She said, what do I do now? I said, you go on cruise control. You're fine. She said, but what am I supposed to do? And I was like, pray that he should be ready. She called me several months later. She said, I met him. I said, what's the story? Because I got to know. Yeah. She said, actually, he just got divorced and I'm the first person that he's dating since he's not just divorced, but like divorced and healed and coming out of it. I'm the first person he dated and I'm clear this is my person. She's like, he wasn't available to me. Literally, it wasn't my fault. It wasn't my problem. It wasn't my time.
Wow. Wow. Wow, that gave me chills. I'm going to pray that prayer. Pray that the other person is ready. Wow.
It can be that they're taking care of an ill parent. It could be that they're out to battle and war and they're not physically home and they can't meet you. They're not here. It could be that they have something else tying them up. Just pray that they should be available, released from any other obligations so that they could be brought to meet you during this time now.
Wow. That's so beautiful. Alisa, tell people where they can follow you and tell people where they can go and purchase your new book.
Okay, amazing. So my name, Aleeza Ben Shalom. I'm going to throw this up so you can see how to spell it.
Yes.
It's Aleeza with 2 E's, Aleeza Ben Shalom. And you can follow me on Instagram. You can find me across all social media, Facebook, TikTok, wherever you like to go, that's where I am. And Matchmaker is all over. It's on Amazon. You can go to my website. My business name is marriagemindedmentor.com. If that's too much, just type in my name. You'll pop up my website and there's a little book link there. You can buy it there. And
Alisa, can you also tell them all the services you offer as far as matchmaking and different courses that are available to them?
Absolutely. So we do matchmaking. We have virtual online matchmaking. We have VIP matchmaking. We offer one-on-one coaching with me or any of the people that I have trained on my team. We also offer courses, things like dating detox. We have a program that we're running. We're almost done it right now called 40 Days of Connection. This other program, Mystery in Your History, kind of like digging somebody up from the past, and Soulmate Clarity, of course. And we are always putting putting out new content online. We have a podcast that is called Matchmaker, so you can listen to that on your favorite podcast app, and just find us, connect, ask your questions. We're here for you. We really take real questions. We answer real things. And we are constantly also collaborating, like especially with people who are influential, get the word out there and help people to gain wisdom so that they can take charge of their life and do what they need to do to find that person. If you're one of those people, connect with us. We want to meet you.
And Alisa, are you doing tours right now still, or are you staying in Jerusalem, or are you still traveling all over the world?
So I'm slowing down the tours, but I still have another 3 at least, or 4 on the calendar. November.
Is that slowing down?
I left the country 13 times in 12 months. So yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's way slowing down.
I literally had my bags packed and I left every 3 to 5 weeks. I was gone.
Oh my goodness.
It was. You
have a supportive husband.
Amazing husband. So I'm going to be in Philadelphia. Probably I go out on campuses. If somebody wants to talk about bringing me into university campuses, I'm going to be on Penn State's campus, and I'm going to be especially in the New York City area in December when the book launches. So I'm going to have tons of opportunities to come do a meet and greet, to have a live singles program where we're going to do matchmaking, and stay tuned. We have an events calendar.
And everyone can find your events calendar on your website. Okay, yep. So if you need to find
and if they follow me on social, we announce everything on social.
Okay, follow her, go to her marriagemindedmentor.com so you can see where she's at and go to live events. And I highly encourage everyone to take the Be Your Own Matchmaker course. It's a very, very, very good course. Alisa, thank you so much for gracing my podcast today. Honestly, you shared so much wisdom with us, and I'm hoping daters feel more empowered now to go out and continue to find their soulmate.
Amen. Thank you for having me.
Well, that is a wrap, you guys, for the Black and Jewish podcast this week. Comment down below. I want to know, did you learn something new? Are you feeling encouraged? Are you feeling lost? Do you want to look into getting a matchmaker? Have you ever thought about hiring a matchmaker? Comment down below. I want to know all of your thoughts. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next week. Bye.